Hello and welcome to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian here with my co-host, Kerry Egeler. And in today's episode, we are bringing back a fan favorite, our 7-figure brand breakdown. So in this episode, we are going to be featuring a super trendy faith-based brand called Elevated Faith. This brand started from a bedroom in the founder's parents' basement and has now grown to over 1 million customers and over 64,000 reviews. So clearly they're doing something right, and we want you to take clues from their success that you can apply to your brand. But first, real quick, as always, we would love to have you subscribe to our podcast, or if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channels. It helps us reach more people and spread the word about print on demand. And we really also never want you to miss an episode. So it's a win-win all around. Thank you so much for being here, and let's jump in. What's up, everybody? Adrian here with Kerry, and I'm super excited because today we are bringing back something that was very popular that we did a couple of in 2023. We're bringing it back for 2024, and that is a 7-figure brand breakdown. So in this episode, we're going to be breaking down the super cool, super trendy, faith-based apparel brand, and their name is Elevated Faith. These guys blow my mind. They have over 1 million customers. They have over 64,000 reviews, and they are doing a lot of things right. So in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to break them down. We're going to do the usual. We break it down into 4 parts. So we're going to break it down by niche/brand, then designs, then website, then marketing. Because remember, success leaves clues. So what we want is for you to be able to take clues from their success that you can go and apply to your brand. But before we do that, Kerry, man, what's going on?
What's up, dude? Good to talk to you, man. Been a couple weeks. We did some solo episodes, which I enjoy doing from time to time. So that was fun. Yeah, man. It's I'm good. How are you? How's everything going?
I'm good. I'm a little bit tired today. Hopefully it doesn't show. But I'm also really excited because we just closed enrollment for T-Shirt Legends Academy, our beginner coaching program. And today we are welcoming in a new cohort of members. We're welcoming to TLA family. So I'm awesome. Super excited for that. But I swear, man, all weekend, I was just a slug because we did 2 live masterclasses, and it's pretty exhausting. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot more goes into it than people know, for sure.
What's that?
I said there's a lot more that goes into it than people know.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention. I'm headed to Norway this weekend. So when you're listening to this episode, I'm probably on a plane, or one of the many planes to get to the other side of the world. But headed to Norway for the Gelato Accelerator Summit. Wanted to mention that. I'm speaking on some AI stuff, which is really cool. Been working on the presentation, and I think it's gonna be really fun. So speaking to a group of really high level print on demand sellers, and hanging out with Gelato. Going to be at their like primary offices there, doing some content, meeting some people. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm going to be there for like a full 7 days. So I'm going to get the full Norwegian experience over there. So it's gonna be exciting.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So that's coming up.
That's super cool, man. I can't wait to hear about it. I presented at the Accelerator Summit last year, and it was so much fun. And the groups that you're presenting to are like big hitters. These are like 7-figure brands. And it was just really cool meeting the owners face to face and being able to just network with them and see what they're doing, see what they're not doing. And it was just a cool opportunity to hang out in Norway. Are you going to Sweden too?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we're going to try to jam a lot into that time, because the conference deal, the summit, is only like 2 days. So I've got like a lot of time. So I'm excited. The crazy part, though, is that I get back into Tulsa, Oklahoma at 4:30 p.m. on the 8th, and I have a daddy-daughter dance at 6 p.m. So I need these planes to be on time because my daughter will not be happy, nor will I, if I have to miss that daddy-daughter dance. So I really need those planes to be on time. I try to get the earliest flight I possibly could, and
Yeah.
of course it falls on the day of the daddy-daughter dance. So that's a little nerve-wracking, but I'm believing we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it back in time.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that baby girl to the dance. I need to
That's
pack my
awesome, man.
suit so on the way back I can like be on the plane suited up.
That's cool, man. Well, I hope for you and your daughter's sake that flight is on time. Real quick, I remember last year when I was flying back, there were like NATO military drills going on in the air while I was at the German airport. And our flight was delayed because of these NATO drills. And so I was just like hanging out in Germany, being like, when are these drills going to be over so we can leave? But it was interesting.
It's not going to happen this time. It's not going to happen.
No, dude, never. Of course not. No.
I have to get back for the daddy-daughter dance. They got to understand.
Well, to be fair, it was in the summertime and now it's kind of like wintry time. Yeah. So hopefully they won't be doing those kind of drills. It makes more sense for them to be doing in the summer, better weather. So, but that's cool, man. I'm really excited for you. I cannot wait to hear about it. You'll have to report back to all of our listeners when you get back and let them know kind of what it was like, who you met, because there's a lot of really cool people there last year. And I expect it'll be exactly like another group of really cool people this year.
It's going to be great.
So cool, man. Well, just before we jump in here, we got to shout out and show some love for one of our 5-star reviews. And this comes from Franz Mack. And Franz Mack says, I've been researching POD tips for over a year now, and it makes me so happy to find someone using Shopify and not just Etsy. Great advice that can be used in multiple aspects of selling. Great podcast. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, friends.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. We really do appreciate these reviews. We love shouting you guys out. So keep them coming. We'll keep shouting you out. All right. With that, let's jump into the main event.
Let's go.
So we're going to be breaking down this amazing brand. Like, this brand is so cool and they're just doing so many things right. So we're going to break this down into 4 parts: brand, designs, website, and marketing. And why don't we just jump into brand? I kind of do niche/brand because I want to tell you about the brand, tell you about what niche they are in, their mission, their purpose, and a little bit about their story, because so many of these brands have really cool stories and it almost always seems like they come from humble beginnings. But before I jump in, Kerry, was there anything you wanted to say before we just dive right in?
No, let's jump on it. Is this our third brand, 7-figure brand breakdown?
Yep.
Third one. Yep.
This is our third one.
If you've got a 7-figure brand you want us to break down, send it to us.
Let's go.
We'd love to break it down.
And if anyone who owns one of these 7-figure brands wants to be a guest on the podcast, man, it would be our honor to host you and for you to share directly some of your advice for our listeners. So, they're probably not listening, but if they are, hey, we got you. All right. So this brand is called Elevated Faith. The niche is trendy, Christian-inspired apparel. And their mission is to share purpose, hope, and love to a lost world. Doesn't that sound like poetic, Kerry?
Pretty awesome.
It's a powerful, it's like one-liner, like powerful one-liner that just sounds so, I don't know, there's something special about it. There's like magic in that sentence. I don't know how long it took them to craft that. It probably evolved over time, over the years, but I was really impressed when I heard that. And their purpose is really cool. Their purpose, they say on their website, Elevated Faith creates conversation starters, jewelry and apparel that open doors for wearers to tell friends and strangers about their faith. So it's all about creating conversations around their faith to share with others, which is really cool. They also give a portion of every sale to faith-based charities. and organizations around the world to practically improve people's lives and share love and hope to a world that desperately needs it. And this is actually pretty impressive, Kerry. To date, they've currently donated over $225,000.
Let's go.
Pretty
That's
impressive,
awesome.
right?
Yeah, that's great. I was going to
That's
say,
nothing to scoff at.
everybody should go check it out too. Elevatedfaith.com. Click on brand,
Yeah.
and then it has our story, because they've just a really nice page. And then I really like the timeline. Like they created that scrollable timeline graphic, which is really cool. So it's a very, very nicely put together and well written about us page. Great example of what an about us page should be, for sure.
Yeah, this is like a poster child about page. And what's interesting is that timeline. Pure Vita also has that timeline on their website, one really similar, and Parks Project, one of the brands that we featured in a 7-figure brand breakdown in the past, also has a timeline. So there's something about these timelines that, I don't know, it's like cool right now for a brand to put a timeline. And the thing I really like about the timeline is when you go back to the beginning, the story is almost always the same. They come from really humble beginnings, and a lot of times the brand was started in their parents' basement. Actually, another brand that has a timeline, I'm pretty sure, is Whole Strength, which two brothers started the brand out of their parents' basement in, I believe it was 2021, and now they're an 8-figure brand with a huge warehouse. So it's really cool to see the humble beginnings, because there's a really good quote that I love. You might have heard this before, Kerry, but it goes something like, never compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. Have you heard that quote before?
Well, I just always think of the Jeff Bezos picture. That's always the one that just comes to my mind, of him in the first Amazon offices, and it's spray painted on the wall, and he just got like stuff everywhere. And you're like, compare your chapter 1 to that, because you're looking at Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the world, and it's just like this dude in this just junky room with spray painted on the wall with just a computer and a bunch of books and junk. And it's like, yeah, my office looks better than Bezos' office. So I think I'm going somewhere.
Right. Yeah, dude, it's so true, man. And so many people's first office was like nothing, like usually home-based. And a lot of times isn't like their parents' place or like their basement or their kitchen or something like that. And I like reading these stories because they're relatable. People need to realize that these brands didn't go from 0 to 7 or 8 figures overnight. It took time. And a lot of them started exactly where you are right now. Every brand started from 0. And a lot of them started with very humble beginnings where you are, and they grew over time. And I think one of the big differences is that they took action and they stayed consistent throughout the years, because no one ever has a perfectly smooth journey. It's never linear. It's always full of peaks and valleys. And you have to like keep that in mind, that there's going to be struggle. Anything worth fighting for, I feel like there's struggle involved. It doesn't come easy, right? If it was easy, everyone would be successful. Everyone would be an entrepreneur. Everyone would be a millionaire. It's just not how it is. It's just not how it is. So, one other quote that comes to mind, because you know I'm a big quote guy, real quick, is the quote that goes, "Comparison is the thief of joy." And I think that this quote really kind of lines up with that. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. I truly believe that comparison is the thief of joy. So when you look at these brands, take it as inspiration for something for you to aspire to, but remember that they were in the same position as you at one point in time. They just stuck with it. They had a long-term goal and they never gave up. So their story is really cool. I'm going to kind of paraphrase it. You can go check the whole thing out on their website. But the founder, Josh, started this brand out of a room in his parents' home in 2015. How many times have you heard that? So he started a room out of his parents. He started the brand out of a room in his parents' home in 2015. His first hire was his sister. How many times have you heard that? His sister, Rachel. And then, right? It's like you hear this so much. And a few years later, they bought a house and ran the entire business from the basement. But they continued to grow. And by 2018, they had outgrown their basement and signed a lease for their first warehouse. Then, come 2022, they upgraded to a 15,000 square foot warehouse in Wisconsin and brought on a much larger fulfillment team. And then most recently, in 2024, this year, they are moving into a 42,000 square foot warehouse with offices.
Wow.
What an upgrade, right? Like going from a room in your parents' house to upgrading to a 42,000 square foot warehouse with offices.
That's wild, dude. It's wild.
It's insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. It's really, really impressive. All right. So let's kind of like break down the niche. Let's summarize the niche here. So first of all, they're faith-based. So it's a Christian-inspired apparel brand. This is a very passionate niche. We all know that there's a lot of very passionate Christians out there. And passion plus products equals profits, as we like to say here on the podcast. They're very mission-based. Like, I read you their mission. I read you their purpose. This brand stands for something. Like, they take a stance. And I just love, mission-based brands are very powerful. And I feel like people can really identify with mission-based brands like this. What I really like about this company too, go on their website, go on their Instagram, and what you're going to notice is that they really differentiate themselves from a lot of other Christian brands by the products and designs being very on trend. So if you go on there, this is, I would say, a brand targeting Gen Z/millennials. And you can tell really quick when you go on their Instagram, it's mainly younger females. I would say females in the like 20s, 30s, maybe 40s. And they all look really trendy. A lot of them look like influencers. And they just do a really good job of kind of fusing the two, like creating a cool brand that someone wants to wear, that someone actually feels really good and confident and on trend in, but also expressing your faith. So it's kind of like they're layering down. They're not just creating a faith-based brand. They're creating a faith-based brand that's really cool and like on trend. And you can see their designs are really trendy. We're going to break down the designs in a sec. But Kerry, did you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah. So I'm not going to say it yet because I want everybody to listen. I want everybody to listen to number 4, the marketing section, because there's something that I don't think you don't have in the marketing section here in the notes that I want to bring to the attention. Is the reason why they're able to have all these 20s and 30s females that look like influencers. So I'm going to break that down for you. It's a very big marketing key we don't talk about a lot on this podcast. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I mean, they're focused on females, younger females. But one thing you said is the trendy design. So that's, if you go to their website, one other thing I want to point out, not only are the designs super trendy, like they're on trend, they're very current. It's also the products that they're choosing. So while you were talking there, Adrian, I did doing a little more research here. I don't know if you noticed on their website, one of their new products, it's a new product and it's a bestseller, not surprisingly, is the Stanley style mugs. Are these like,
we're about to talk about that.
Yeah. Is it in there?
Yeah.
But I wanted to just bring that up because it's a super trendy product, right? And they're putting it doesn't look like it's not a Stanley mug. It's some kind of off brand, it looks exactly like a Stanley mug. But they're putting their style, trendy designs on a trendy product. And I was trying to find, I don't know if you have, maybe we can talk about this in a minute, but I don't know if you found a print on demand that actually sells these style of mugs, but I haven't been able to locate it yet. But if you can jump on these Stanley tumbler type things and put your designs on them, find these with the print on demand. The print on demand that gets these the quickest is going to be rolling in the dough. These could be super easy to sell, especially at the price they're selling them is very, very affordable, cheaper than a Stanley. Anyways,
I can't believe how popular those are right now, man. I was at the gym earlier today and there were 2 women with Stanley mugs and they were just walking around. They're freaking huge. They're just I was like looking at them, not the women, the mugs. I was looking at the mugs.
You were looking at the huge women. Like, let me quote you. You said there were 2 women walking around. They were huge.
No,
the women. You're talking about the Stanley. You're talking about the Stanley.
I'm talking about the Stanley. I'm not talking about the women. They were, uh, and yeah,
They
the
were very
women
fit and
maybe thought,
attractive. Good.
no.
The mugs were
Oh, I'm
big.
a happily married man. I was now you got me blushing, man. No, but the
It's
mugs
really
were
funny the way
right
you worded it.
beside them. What's that?
No, go ahead. Good.
The mugs were right beside them as they were working out, and they probably thought I was looking at them, but I was absolutely looking at the Stanley mugs because
Mhm.
I hadn't seen a Stanley mug in person. I've seen them all over the internet because they're super viral right now. And I was just looking at it. I'm like, okay, this one's like lime green, that one's like a light pink, just really like cool, trendy on trend neutral colors, very cool, but like not that big of a differentiator. It has a built-in straw, it has a handle, it's huge. And I was like, I don't know what makes this so special. And
Nothing.
then I just,
Nothing.
nothing makes them special.
The thing
Like,
that makes it
it's the
special is
marketing.
influencers using it, your favorite influencer using it and
Yes.
promoting it. Like that's what it's a good cup. Like it's a great quality cup, but it's not
Yeah.
like that much better than anything else. I'm sure the one that Elevated Faith here, like the ones that Elevated Faith are selling, they look identical. Like there is
Yeah.
no, at least looking at it, there is no distinguishable difference. It's got the exact same lid. But
Mhm.
somehow they're printed on and the price is cheaper. I was trying to compare the price real quick, but I can pull that up in a minute. But it's pretty wild.
Yeah. Elevated faith is,
It's just like a you're making a statement with it. It's a fashion statement or whatever. Like it's that kind
yeah.
of thing. People, you look whatever a little more high class with the Stanley. If you got the Stanley logo on it. But the 40 yeah, the
Dude.
40 ounce Stanley is $45, and the 30 ounce
Okay.
Stanley is $35. And so before discount code, they're selling the 40 ounce at 35, which is $10 cheaper than a Stanley, and it's printed with Elevated Faith stuff on it. Then the 30
Mhm.
ounce they're selling for $32.99, which is just like $3 less than the Stanley version.
Yeah.
Interesting, just
Who
interesting.
would have thought? Who would have thought in 2024 that a tumbler would be a statement piece, like a fashion icon statement piece? It's hilarious.
Hey, we
It's
fall and
so
pray.
funny.
My daughter is 5 and has one. My wife
Does she
has like
really?
yeah, she does. My wife has like 5 or 6 of them. I have one. I have like the big black one. I don't have. I got my faithful Yeti today.
Nice.
All right, keep it
That's
going. Keep
so
it going.
funny. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Stanley's killing it in the marketing and all these viral videos of people fighting for Stanley mugs at Target. That's also helping kind of
Mhm,
create that like urgency and scarcity for people to go get theirs, right?
mhm.
But really, yes, they did an amazing job on their marketing. Kudos to their marketing team. Dang, like they killed it. But uh, next, let's talk about designs. And I actually want to put two things together. I want to put designs and products together. I actually wanted to talk about this because, yeah, it's crazy. If you go on their website, you see that they have their mugs have a handle, they have a straw, they look the same, they are around the same size, but they're their own branding. So essentially, they're taking like a very, very trendy product. This kind of goes in line with them being an on trend brand. Like this brand is very trendy. They fuse trendiness and like trendy fashion with
Yep.
Christian apparel. Very cool. I love that they're doing that because that's a differentiator. Like we know there's a lot of Christian brands out there, but these guys are putting two things together, and then they're pretty clear on their ideal customer too. Just go on their
Mhm.
social media and you'll see that it's women mainly in probably their 20s and 30s. But let's talk about their designs first, because what you'll notice about a lot of their designs is they're super simple. They're
Incredibly
really
simple.
simple, very simple. Many of them are purely text based. Like I'm looking at one of their best sellers here right now that said, God is always with me.
Mhm.
And that's it. It's on the back of like a denim jacket or something, but there's no like logo. Like I don't really see much else. So this is what a lot of their stuff is. But what you notice when you look at their designs is they're actually using a lot of trendy fonts in their designs. And you can go on there and you can see the big bubbly fonts, which we all know are super trendy right now. Well, I hope we all know are super trendy right now. They're using other super on trend fonts and they look awesome. Like their
Yep.
designs look super cool, but half of these designs could be created in Canva in 5 minutes, like,
Mhm.
or in Kittle. Like these are not crazy designs, you know? So I wanted to kind of mention that because one thing that we always say is that simple sells. You don't need complex designs. And actually, in a lot of cases, complex designs are going to work against you. So I would rather have people create 100 simple designs versus like 25 complex designs in the same
Yeah.
amount of time. Or maybe they can even only do 10 complex designs in that amount of time because they're actually going to have in my opinion, they're going to have a higher likelihood of success with those simple designs. Even 10 simple designs versus 10 complex designs, I would still give my money would be on those 10 simple designs. What do you think, Kerry?
Yeah, no, for sure. I would always go with the simple design, but I just wanted to comment on the trendiness here. They
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this brand is like taking the trendiness to the next level, right? Because like they're just going all out. Everything they're doing is based off of trends. And
Mm-hmm.
this is like I mean, I don't know if you call it a hack. I guess you could call it a hack, but it's like if you're trying to get attention, you're trying to build a brand and you want it to be current and trendy, like look at these kind of brands. You might look at Elevated Faith and you might see like, okay, these are the kind of designs that are trending right now. And even if you're in
Mm-hmm.
a different niche, maybe you're doing something similar, you're using some of these design trends, but it's just like, let's think about this. Who's their ideal customer? They're showing their ideal customer. Then they're thinking
Mm-hmm.
about, okay, what kind of brands and what kind of designs are my ideal customer already wearing? So then they're using the uh, color palettes. They're using the
Yep.
font styles. They're using
Yeah.
they're using the actual trendy product styles. So what kind of
Mm-hmm.
clothing styles are these females wearing? It's what they're going for is this very relaxed, oversized fitting things,
Yep.
sweatpants with oversized shirts, oversized hoodies, and different things like that. I mean, it's very much like the kind of the Kim Kardashian, the Yeezy kind of style, with the
Yep.
types of products that they're going for, as well as the
Yeah.
color palettes. The color palettes are also in that kind of Yeezy vibes. They've got a lot of the like sand colors and earth tones and that kind of thing. But then on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
they're thinking like, okay, well, what other types of products are also trending? That's where they come up with, okay, Stanleys. Our ideal customer is they're all carrying Stanleys. So let's go figure out if we can get a Stanley style cup and put our flavor on it. And so it's like they're just taking that trendiness to that next level, right? From the fonts to the color palettes to the actual clothing styles to other products that they're releasing to the people they're showing. Like it's just a huge, like everything is a trend, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. 100%. 100%. It's like if you want to be trendy and show your faith, this is your brand. Like if
Hmm.
you want to look good, feel confident, this is your brand. Oversized sweatsuits, which are really popular right now. Neutral colors, which are really popular right now. Trendy fonts. I'm looking at a design right now that has butterflies on it. Also really trendy right now. I'm looking at the same design also has kind of the checkerboard, which is really trendy right now, kind of that retro checkerboard. Uh, everything you said. And here's one thing that's crazy. Like if you go look at their Stanley mugs, I'm going to call them Stanley mugs. They're not, or Stanley tumblers.
Hmm.
They don't call them Stanley tumblers,
They
obviously.
can't. Yeah.
But if you go there, they have quite a few different options and over half of the options are sold out. Over half of the
Wow.
options are gone. I mean, yeah, they jumped on a viral trend. They they overlaid their niche onto it and now took this super cool trendy mug and then like layered cool trendy Christianity designs on it and boom, you have a very popular product. It's one of their best sellers, and a whole bunch of them are already sold out. So, yeah, these guys, they're on it. They know their stuff. Another thing I like about them is that they jump on special occasions. This is something that we always recommend people do. Like, go where the attention is. Right now, the attention is on Valentine's Day. We'll be closer to Valentine's Day when this recording goes out. But at the time we're recording this, it's January 30th. And Valentine's Day is coming up. That's on everyone's mind. And they actually have a Valentine's collection. So they just created products in like a light pink and Valentine's colors and created a Valentine's Day collection. Brilliant. Next, they're probably going to create a Mother's Day collection. I don't know for sure, but I mean, that's going to be where a lot of the attention is. After Valentine's Day, you got St. Patrick's Day. Some people jump on that. Some people don't. And then really you've got like Easter and then Mother's Day. So they'll probably have collections for those, but that's a good thing. Like follow the attention. Remind people that this is coming up and that a lot of people want to participate. They want to have some sort of, item to show their acknowledgement of this holiday. So around Valentine's Day right now and leading up to Valentine's Day, we see a lot of people wearing pink, red, white, like all these Valentine's colors, right? That's where the attention is. And they jump on it. They're just doing so many things right. Is there anything else that you want to share in terms of designs or products before we jump onto their website?
Yeah, just one other tip I want to share is one of the questions we get. One of the questions we get a lot is like, where do you do design research? And I just want to like simplify this. Let's just make this as simple as possible. If you're out there and you're like, this is all cool that they're on all these trends, but how do I find these trends? How do I figure out these trends? Just want to like make it as simple as possible. Where does your customer already shop? Go search those brands. Like I can't stress that enough. Now, I wouldn't necessarily go to those brands and look at their slogans and different things they're putting on there, but I would be looking at the styles. So what do I mean? If your ideal customer is these females that are pretty young and trendy and that kind of thing, where are they already shopping? Right? Like go find the brands that they're already shopping. And I'm talking about like the big brands, like, right? Like you can go to an H&M and look at their graphic tees. Like it's really, when you just look at it like that, it's like everybody is buying clothes already. The statistics show it. The average American buys almost one new clothing item per week. It's 51 per year. So it's like they're buying clothing, right? So go figure out what brands are they already shopping, what brands are they already, buying things from. Look at those design trends because those big brands are going to be on top of the design trends. So you're going to be able to see what they're doing. And I mean the font styles, the color palettes, the fit of the products and those kind of things. Like that's just the easiest way for me. I know there's tons of other ways that people like to do it. And we talk about Etsy and all those kind of things, but go to the heart of the customer. Where are they already shopping? What things are attracting them? The perfect example is the Stanley mug because they looked at it and they said, okay, our customers are buying a product that we don't sell. I see our people are talking about these tumblers. How do we start selling these tumblers, right? And they went and figured out a way to sell something similar. They literally probably they probably went over to the Stanley website. They probably looked at what were the best selling color combos. They probably started pulling the color combos, trying to match that. What are the best selling sizes, right? If you go to the Stanley website, there's 4 billion different types of drink mugs that you can go. But they went and they're like, okay, what is actually the best selling one? Okay, it's this style, right? It's the quencher. What sizes are selling better? Which ones are on social media that people are talking about? What are the colors that are, you can literally just go to the Stanley website, look at what colors are sold out. Yeah. Just see like, oh, these colors are sold out. Okay. I need to go do similar color palettes. Right. So, I just want to simplify it for people. Like that's how I've always done it. Right. I'll go out to PacSun. I'll go out to Forever 21 or wherever they're shopping. I don't even know that those are like trendy brands anymore, but I'm just saying like those are a lot of brands I would look at, right? I knew where my customer was shopping. So I look at these brands, see what designs are selling or are newly listed or are the kind of those new arrivals, takes inspiration from those designs that are already selling.
Yeah. Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. Like it didn't take a rocket scientist for this brand to go and see that Stanley tumblers were super viral, like a viral sensation, and then quickly get someone to create them and put their own branding and designs on it. And then what a shocker, they're sold out of over half of them. Like
Yeah, right.
the writing was on the wall. It was a pre-validated product. And this is something that we teach too. Like look for validation on products and designs to give you proof that it's actually making a lot of sales right now. And then take that as inspiration and create something similar for yourself. And
Yep.
this is like the most perfect example of that. So yeah, I mean, I'm big when it comes to research. I'm huge on doing online research on like your competitors, on your competitors' websites, on their social media, on Etsy. But yeah, like also going out to shopping centers, like you say, Kerry, you're gonna see that a lot of the graphics are going to be Valentine's inspired right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you're going to see St. Patrick's Day inspired. And then after that, you're going to see Easter inspired. Like you see it out there too.
Mm-hmm.
I love to do mine all from my computer, like this, I don't know, like a little laptop warrior, like doing my research on my computer. I don't actually go out that much and I don't go out shopping that much. So I don't actually see these things in the brick and mortors.
Well, I mean, I'm mainly talking about the
So,
websites. I'm mainly talking about the websites,
yeah.
not even the
Oh,
stores.
the
Like just
website. Okay,
searching the
okay. Yeah,
website.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I should have been more
Yeah.
specific, but yeah, that I'm not going to the stores necessarily. I'm searching their websites, right? Those things are the
Yeah.
things that are selling in stores.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, let's jump onto the third kind of pillar, and that's going to be website. So let's talk about their website. First of all, it's beautiful, right, Kerry? Like it's a
Yep.
gorgeous website. They've done like aesthetically, it looks beautiful. Their colors are really nice. They're big on the neutrals, which are really trendy right now. They have a super cool story, which we already shared some of that with you. But that is, I mean, anyone who reads that story is gonna be like, man, this brand is so cool. They
For
have
sure.
high quality product, right? They have high
Mhm.
quality product and lifestyle imagery all throughout their website. The people wearing the products actually look like their ideal customer. So this is something that we always say, like allow your ideal customer to imagine themselves wearing that product. And what's the best way to imagine themselves wearing that product? Having someone that looks like them wearing the product,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So this is very important. You want the models or the mock-ups, whatever you're using, have them look like your ideal customer. Really, really big. One thing that I love about their website is it is just conversion optimized to the T. They've done so many good things to significantly increase the chances of them converting people. So, like
Yeah.
I said, they have lots of lifestyle and user generated content, which makes people be like, oh, look, these are people wearing the clothes. This is what the clothes actually look like. They have a ton of social proof. They have over 64,000 customer reviews. They have lots of user generated content, which I mentioned. They mention on their website that they have over 1 million customers. I mean,
That's
it's pretty
insane.
easy to trust a brand that has
60,000
over 1 million
reviews.
customers.
Yeah.
What's that?
No, just saying 60,000 reviews. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. And one thing I really like about this brand too is they do everything to align themselves as a premium brand, including premium prices, which I think is fantastic. I am really big on raising your perceived value, increase your perceived value, and as a result, increasing your price because your margins matter. Your margins matter. With more margin comes more profit, and with more profit comes more freedom. And you can do a lot of things with that profit. It means more money that you can invest in maybe growing your team, more money you can invest in marketing, more money you can invest in ads. There's so many things you can do by having that. And if you're racing to the bottom and trying to compete with these people selling their t-shirts for like 15, 18, 20 bucks, like you're in a losing battle. And it's something that I am personally very opposed to. I don't think that's how you create a profitable, sustainable, freedom-based business. I think you need to create a brand. And I love brands like this who really focus on creating a premium experience. Like they do a really good job. Like it's funny, their name is Elevated Faith. It's almost ironic because they're like an elevated brand. They're like cool, they're trendy, they're premium. And their pricing reflects that. So their t-shirts are around $30 to $35. They vary, but it's about $30 to $35 price point, which I personally think is really reasonable. I don't even think
I do
that's
too.
that premium, but I think that's a good price. I think they're going to get a lot. I mean, clearly they get a lot of customers at that price. Their hoodies and sweatshirts are around $60. Again, totally reasonable price. And then just the high perceived value. Like I talk about it all the time. We talk about it all the time. If you want to see an example of a brand that has nailed high perceived value, go check out elevatedfaith.com. Kerry, I want to know your thoughts on their website.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not like there's not that much to say that we haven't already said. Like it's just it's an awesome website. I love that, right at the top, they've got the 60,000 plus 5-star reviews. I mean, right there, you can click on it. I
Mm-hmm.
love that they have, you can click on that. It takes you to the best sellers. If you go to their product pages, they're really beautiful product pages. They've got,
Yeah.
they've got a lot of lifestyle photos, which are like the one I'm looking at is like a denim jacket, and it's got like this pretty much the same model across the most of them are the same model, are very similar across
Mm-hmm.
the lifestyle photos. They've got they've got an amazing product description, but not too long. It talks about the design and what it means, and then it gives the information that you need. They've got a really nice upsell strategy. They've got like a bundle strategy, which is really nice, where you can get some discounts and everything. But overall, I mean, they're showing their ideal customer. They're showcasing reviews like crazy, right? If you scroll down on any of their product pages, there's just a million reviews. Um, so again, showing their ideal customer, tons of reviews, well thought out, beautiful photos. I mean, like color scheme is great. Like it's just a really nice website. I mean, there's not again, there's not much to say that hasn't been said. I really love, like, on their front page, they've got the Our Mission section, and it's very simple. Start faith conversations, donate to charities, share hope with the world. Like that pretty much sums it up right there. You don't even, you don't need to go over to any other page. It's right there on the front page. Very, very simple and easy to understand. So, I mean, I love everything they've got going on. They're showcasing their Instagram as well on their website because they have a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. Their Instagram
Mm-hmm.
really flows with their website and their branding because they're using a lot of the same imagery, the same people. It's just a great website. Not much to say. I have not looked at it on mobile. I did
Yeah.
notice that their pop up, which I don't think I can bring it up on my desktop again, but it was a spin the wheel type pop up, right?
Yep.
So I
Yep.
can pull it up on my phone and look at it one more time. But that's something to note. I always note when big brands, large brands are using that, like when they're using a certain type of pop up. That kind of gives you a clue. Like I'm sure they have a huge email list, and so yeah, here's their pop up. It says spin to win up to 15% off your order. You can spin it there. It's got some lifestyle photos at the bottom of it, and I'm sure that's working really, really well for them to collect email addresses. So I think we've talked a little bit about the spin the wheel type email collection, but I know it's really
Mm-hmm.
effective, and I would definitely encourage
Yeah.
people to give that a shot for sure. Wheelio,
Gamification, man. They make it fun. They make it
yeah,
fun. Like you want to give your email because you get to spin a wheel. That's gamification. And we've been using spin the wheel apps for, I think, since like 2017, 2018. And nothing has ever come close to it in terms of conversion rate. But what I mean by conversion rate is
yeah,
the amount of emails that we collected from the pop-up.
hmm
We've done, we have done the like the standard pop-up on our website, and it doesn't even come close to the spin the win wheel. I don't know what it is. People just love doing it. I mean, I do know what it is. It's fun. It's like a game, right?
hmm
So it's something that we recommend to a lot of our students, and a lot of our students are doing it. But yeah, success leaves clues. They're onto something here. They're onto a lot of things here.
it's awesome.
Um, Cool. All right. Let's talk about the fourth and final kind of breakdown pillar, and that's marketing. I want to say this is where they shine, Kerry, but they literally shine in every area. Like I would give these guys like an A plus in terms of what they've done with this brand. But just going back for 1 second, really, really quick, I want to go back to that quote that I shared before. Comparison is a thief of joy. Remember, they didn't used to have 64,000 reviews. They didn't used to have 1 million customers. They didn't used to have this massive warehouse. This all started in someone's head and a bedroom from their parents' house. Okay. So let's just like take a step back and remember that. This is where a lot of us are right now. We're running our businesses from home. We might be doing it from our kitchen. Who knows where we're doing? Maybe your living room, right? They started there too. So this just is evidence of what you can create when you take massive action and you really stick with something consistently. And they've created something beautiful here. So when it comes to marketing, first things first, it's very obvious that their primary acquisition channel, their primary channel to acquire customers is Instagram. It's Instagram. Their Instagram is beautiful. It's curated like to the like 10 out of 10. It's a beautiful grid. They have over 544,000 followers on Instagram. They get lots of reach on their posts. And they pay a lot of attention to details, just like they do everywhere, right? They pay attention to details in their imagery, on their website, with the way that they tell their story, but also in their marketing and branding. It's also obvious if you go on Instagram that they work with a lot of influencers and brand ambassadors. This brand actually reminds me a lot of Pure Vita. They remind me, like, it almost seems like they took Pure Vita's playbook and then layered that on a Christian-inspired apparel brand. If you go to Pure Vita and you look at this brand side by side, they look the same. They look very similar. So my guess is I could be way off here, but it wouldn't be surprising if the owner of this brand saw Pure Vita, saw how successful they were, and then used them as inspiration to create a brand of their own. But they added their own niche on it as like total differentiator. And that's brilliant. That's brilliant. I think that is a great strategy. So, like I mentioned too, if you go on their Instagram right away, you'll know who their ideal customer is. Like, go on there for yourself. Just go on Elevated Faith at Elevated Faith on Instagram, and you're going to see all these young women in their 20s, 30s who look like they're into fashion and they are dressed really trendy. Even the non-Elevated Faith products that they're wearing are on trend. A lot of times they're in bright, beautiful settings. They look like an influencer. You know, they're at beaches and all these beautiful areas. And just, it's really cool. It's really cool to see like they've done a really good job here. You can also go on their website and you can see that they have an influencer program and they have an ambassador program. So I'm not just saying this, it's actually on their website. But then when you go on their Instagram, you can see the two come together. Before we jump into their ad strategy, Kerry, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I really want to spend a moment and talk about the brand ambassador strategy here. That's kind of what I mentioned at the beginning with that I wanted you to stay tuned for. My guess is that this has been a huge key to their growth. Again, I don't know this for sure. I would love to know, from the founder, like what I want to know, like, was this how they grew initially and got to be, whatever, their first multi six figures or whatever. And then from there started to bolt on some of these additional things like the Facebook, really, really big Facebook ad strategy and things like that, because the Facebook ads and Instagram, like looking at their ad library, they've got over 210 ads in there. I mean, they're running a lot of ads, right? A lot across Facebook and Instagram. They've got a really big Instagram following. You mentioned 544,000 followers, but my guess is that they grew through this brand ambassador program. And I think this is something that we haven't talked about in previous breakdowns. We haven't talked about a lot on the podcast. I wouldn't consider myself an expert in this. So I'm really coming from a place of like, I don't know a ton about it, but I want to tell you what I found. So it's really interesting. So they actually have a separate Instagram page, which is called EF Ambassadors. It has 17,000 followers. Okay. They also have, if you click on their link tree, they have a link tree for ambassadors. You can go over to their ambassador application. Here's what you get as an elevated ambassador. You basically you earn 10% commission on everything you sell through Elevated Faith. So any products you sell from Elevated Faith, you earn 10% commission. You get a 15% off code to share with other people. So you get your own personal code. And then on top of that, they have a reward system. So when you make your first sale, I'm not sure what that is, but it's some kind of like identity card you get. When you make 3 sales, you get a bracelet. You make 5 sales, you get a hat. Make 10 sales, you get a looks like a long sleeve shirt or maybe just a t-shirt. And then 20 sales, you actually get a hoodie. So there's actually this reward system as you kind of build up. One other thing one other element of this is they actually have a private Facebook group called Elevated Faith Brand Ambassadors, which has over 19,000 members in it. And they state on this group that they have over 40,000 ambassadors. So it's maybe not all the ambassadors are inside of the Facebook group. That's pretty common. But 40,000 ambassadors. So I just want you might be like, I don't know anything about this strategy. I don't quite understand it, but I just want you to think about the impact you could make and the sales you could make if you had an army of 40,000 people that were creating content for you to use. Were posting that content to their social media, that were selling your products on your behalf to their friends, family, and social media following, right? If you had 40,000 people, that army working for your brand, you could make a lot of flipping money, and you could really have a large impact. And so I think this has got to be one of their keys, because it's just so cool, because again, we've been talking a lot about their content and their photos on their website, like their how great their Instagram looks, how great their website imagery looks. It's like got to be 99% from their ambassadors, right? Because as an ambassador, normally there's some requirements in place. So you fill out an application, and me as the company, let's say, if I'm Elevated Faith, I'm saying, okay, you can be an ambassador. You can earn 10% on sales. You get a 15% off code. You become a part of this family. But in return, you have to provide me with this many pieces of content per month. Here are the requirements, right? Has to be in these settings, have to be wearing these types of clothes, yada, yada, and so on and so forth. And so if you are Elevated Faith, like, you're not doing anything. You're just getting all this content constantly sent to you by your ambassadors that you can use. And then on top of that, you're bringing in sales that your ambassadors are selling for you. So this is really an evergreen strategy for sales and content, and they can use them in ads, and they can use them on their website. And I think it is a good image of their brand. Like, it's a good way to look at this brand, because this is gotta be a huge, huge portion of their entire strategy are these ambassadors, right? Because they're not only that, they're their customers. Like, their customers are becoming their ambassadors, and those ambassadors are buying things for themselves, right? Because they love the brand. I know some brands that I have a brand inside Shirt School that uses a similar strategy, and her biggest customer base is her ambassadors. Like, her ambassadors get early access to drops, right? So they're like, they get discount codes, all that stuff. So they're buying the stuff like early before they go out and start promoting it. And like, the biggest portion of her sales come from her ambassadors. So just a huge strategy, something we haven't talked about a lot. And I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And let's go back to those parallels between Elevated Faith and Pure Vita. While you were like talking about this and dropping these numbers, I pulled up Pure Vita. So they have, as of 2022, they had over 126,000 active ambassadors all across North America. And they also have a dedicated ambassador page called PV Brand Ambassadors with 49.8 thousand followers. So going back again, like how, like I truly believe that Elevated Faith is taking a page out of Pure Vita's playbook, because Pure Vita is doing all the same things as Elevated Faith. Pure Vita, I believe, has been around for longer, but they probably saw that Pure Vita was doing really well. And they probably saw that Pure Vita's Instagram, their ideal customer, looked a lot like their ideal customer. The only difference is that their ideal customer is Christian, whereas Pure Vita's, they're not a Christian based brand, right? So yeah, there's definitely something there. ambassador programs can be really successful. The only thing I will say is I don't think a lot of brands start out with ambassador programs, and having done ambassador programs, they're pretty high maintenance. Like
Yeah,
you have to put time, you need to nurture your ambassadors, you need to inspire your ambassadors, you need to reward them. Like it can be a lot of work. It can definitely work. It can definitely work, but like don't think that this is going to be something passive. It's not like the
sure.
same as running ads where you run an ad, you drive traffic to your website, and then people shop and many times convert, right? It's very much like they're like a sales team for you, which is awesome.
Hmm.
But a lot of ambassadors, if you don't kind of shape the path, they're just going to join your ambassador program and never really do anything. Like they're
Yeah,
never going to really get you any sales, or no one's going to use their code. And you're going to have all these ambassadors. And then you're going to look at the ambassador board and see that no one's actually bringing in sales. And you're
yeah,
just like, what the heck? So I would say like, I would just say like, I would caution people that
sure.
are like, oh, I'm going to go all in on ambassador program right out of the gate. I do not think that's the best way to start a brand in most cases. And yeah, I would just, I do think it can work for some brands, but know that it's work. Like you got to maintain this. So that's all I'd say about that. But I definitely agree that this is clearly a big part of their strategy. I also think that a lot of their images on Instagram are from influencers. So they work with both influencers and ambassadors. Ambassadors, a lot of times, can be anyone, right? You'll just set really broad parameters for who you need to be. And then pretty much anyone can join in a lot of cases, or anyone that meets those parameters. Whereas influencers is like they're looking for something very specific. Like they're
I'm sure
looking for
they I'm
someone.
sure they are working with a lot of influencers, but I would say if you go over to their ambassador page, you can actually see that a lot of the ambassador images are the same ones being used on their Instagram. So
Yeah,
I do think they maybe they have some higher level ambassadors that are influencers, But I mean a lot of these girls that they're getting to be ambassadors, they do, they might have 5,000 Instagram followers, and that might be kind of
yeah,
the size that they're looking for. But I totally agree with you. It's definitely not something that's easy, and I'm sure this brand now has a somebody that runs the ambassador program for them. It's not like the
yeah,
founder is running it at their level.
right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it can be a difficult strategy, but it is a strategy to grow a brand, and I definitely think it's effective
Yeah,
if you do it right, for sure.
totally. It can be like a full-time job for one person. Like if you're
Hmm.
growing your brand and you really want to go down this route, you could literally hire a full-time
Hmm.
brand ambassador, and that might grow your brand really fast. But that's kind of like I would say it's more of like a scaling kind of rapid growth kind of strategy. But let's talk about their marketing a little bit more. So they clearly have omni-channel marketing. They've got ambassador program. They've got influencers. They've got ads. They post a lot organically to Instagram, especially. They've got a TikTok presence. They're on a lot of other channels, but you can tell right away that Instagram is their main focus. That is their
Hmm.
main acquisition channel. That's where I believe they have their biggest following. And if you go to their Facebook ads library, you'll see that they're running ads. You'll see that
A
they're
lot of
running
ads.
Facebook ads. It's a mix, yeah, a lot of ads. So they're like hitting people from a lot of different angles. And this is the beauty of being a big brand. They probably have an entire team. Like they mentioned that their new warehouse has offices. So they probably have like someone in charge of their brand ambassador program, and they probably have someone in charge of their ads, or they're outsourcing that to someone.
Hmm.
And people have different like roles that they can just focus full time on those things, right? Um, if you look at their ads, you'll notice that they have a mix of still image, carousel, and video ads. So they're trying all content types. They're not just all one single content type.
Hmm.
And their ads are like they're pretty simple. So they use social proof. Some of their ads, it's a review, like it's a customer review, which is can be super effective for ads, by the way. Uh, they also mention their differentiators or things that are more likely to help someone convert. So you notice in a lot of their ads, they say every purchase gives back, fast free shipping on orders over $75, and share your faith in a fun way. So these are like three, they have an emoji, and then they say each of these little sound bites, which are great. Another one here, they have 3 emojis with 3 sound bites. One says 1 million happy customers. I mean, dude,
Ooh.
that's about the most insane social proof you could have. They say 60,000 plus 5-star reviews and fast free shipping on orders over $75. They've got lots in their tool belt to work with to conversion optimize everything, like their ads, their website. It's just, these guys are so good. I'm just so impressed. But Kerry, I want to hear your thoughts.
No, yeah, you covered a lot of it. I mean, they're doing a lot. You know, they're running a lot of ads. It says 210 results. That doesn't mean all those are active, but as you scroll down through all of their ads in the library, I mean, they've got a lot of active ads. There's a lot of active ads, huge Instagram following. I think they're primarily, like you said, on Instagram, but if you look up their TikTok, they've got 147,000 followers on TikTok. So it's definitely, something that they're doing. This is what you see, like when you're a growing brand, you're looking for ways to scale your sales. And one of those ways is by, scaling out across different platforms, across different strategies. So another thing, I'm sure, I'm not on their email list, but I'm sure that they're crushing the email game as well. So that's another thing to think of, right? Is they've got that pop up on their website that's collecting emails, that's spin to win. I'm sure they've got a massive email list, and as you mentioned, yes, they're bigger. They've got a team. That's why we talk about a lot. What are the things that you should be focused on? We believe one social media channel, focus on one social media channel, and bolt on email marketing to that, right? And then after you start making a few sales, then you might start up some very basic ads. And these are kind of the building blocks. Then as you grow, right, then you're bolting on other platforms. Then you're looking at things like the ambassador program. Then you're looking at different ways to advertise, different ways to get in front of more people. And, again, I love to just know how they got started. What were the first things they were doing? It was, a husband and wife, or I don't remember if he said it was his girlfriend at the time.
Man and his sister.
Oh yeah, the guy and
his sister was his first hire. He started alone.
Yeah, so he started alone, hired his sister. So like, one person, then to 2 people, and like, what were they doing? What were those initial marketing steps? And then as they grew, what did they start bolting on? But in our guests, we're kind of giving you what we see. We think this is the best way to kind of get it started is through those channels. One social media channel. Make sure you have basic email marketing. You're sending weekly emails. You have some of those automations, and then starting to run some basic ads. Those are kind of the building blocks.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. That was like, this is, and I just want to like kind of bring this home because we'll wrap up here shortly, but I just want people to know, like, this is possible for you. It's 100%. Not going to happen overnight. It didn't happen overnight for them. It didn't happen overnight for Pura Vida. It didn't happen overnight for Whole Strength, but it can happen. It can absolutely happen. And if you truly believe that you can do this and you are in it for the long term and you take massive action, your brand is going to grow and evolve over time, just like their brand grew and evolved. But remember, like, this person who started the brand, he only had 24 hours in a day, just like you. He started it from a bedroom in his parents' place. Like, so many of these brands have the same story of coming from humble beginnings. And this is where I think a lot of people need to like take a step back, stop looking at people's chapter 10s when they've been in this game for 7 or 8 years and they're killing it, because a lot of them were in the exact same place you are right now. And so I always just encourage everyone, like, believe that this is possible for you. This started, this brand started humble. Like, your brand is probably starting humble. It probably started very lean. Like, your brand is starting very lean, and you can do just a couple of things in their playbook right now and grow really, really quick. Like, you can scale really, really fast by just taking a couple pages in their playbook, but you also have the potential to create a brand one day like this. So with that, I think we'll wrap it up. Kerry, any final thoughts?
Oh man, what a cool brand. Love it.
Yeah. That was so much fun. If you guys like this, let us know, because we actually really like doing these 7-figure brand breakdowns, but we only want to do them if you feel like you're getting value, because everything we do is for you guys. So with that, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. Stay awesome, and we will talk to you very soon.
thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Print on Demand Playbook podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave us an honest review on whichever platform you're listening on. Thanks and have a great day.